If you're like most folks I talk to at the lot, you don't care about fancy gimmicks. You just want something that won't break down on you 6 months in. Hello everyone, this is Scott from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today we're digging into the 5 most reliable SUVs of 2025, according to reputable sources like Consumer Reports and J.D. Power. Of course, you can take everything here with a grain of salt, but this is the closest to accuracy you can get. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up, and let's get back to the video. (2025) Mazda CX-5. I've driven the 2025 Mazda CX-5 more times than I can count, and I was able to even recommend it to some folks and actually managed to get it sold. Regardless, it never fails to impress. It's the kind of vehicle that doesn't just feel well built, it actually holds up like it was designed by people who still care about doing things right. Both J.D. Power and Consumer Reports are backing that up this year with some of the strongest reliability scores in the compact SUV game. You've got 2 engine options, but even the base 2.5-liter Skyactiv G inline-4 puts down 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission that doesn't hunt or hesitate. It just shifts when it's supposed to, clean and direct. But if you want some real punch, the turbocharged version bumps it up to 256 horses and 320 pound-feet with premium fuel. And let me tell you, that setup moves. It's not just about raw power either. The way Mazda tunes the throttle and steering, it drives more like a tall hatchback than a crossover. What I love about the CX-5 is that it doesn't squeak, rattle, or feel cheap after a year or two. The doors close with a solid thunk, and the materials inside are legit. Even on mid-trim models, you're getting soft-touch dash panels, leather-wrapped steering, and that slick rotary knob controller for the 10.25-inch infotainment screen. It's not overloaded with useless tech either. Just what you need, and it works when you need it. Mazda's iActive-Sense safety suite is standard, and I've never had a customer come back complaining about false alarms or buggy sensors. The adaptive cruise, blind spot, and lane keep are all tuned to do their job without nagging you every 5 seconds. 2025 Honda CR-V. You want to know why the 2025 Honda CR-V keeps showing up on every most reliable SUV list, from Consumer Reports to J.D. Power? It's because this thing doesn't try to overcomplicate the job. I've put people in CR-Vs for years, and I've watched them rack up miles with barely more than an oil change. This latest model just builds on that legacy, tightening up the chassis, refining the drivetrain, and doing what Honda does best, which is keeping it simple and damn near bulletproof. Under the hood, the CR-V still runs with the tried-and-true 1.5-liter turbocharged inline-4, putting out 190 horsepower and 179 pound-feet of torque. It's not flashy, but paired with Honda's ultra-smooth CVT, it gets the job done without fuss, and that's key. The CVT in this thing doesn't drone or lag like some of the cheaper ones you'll find in other compact crossovers. Now, if you're chasing MPGs, the hybrid version is where it really shines. It uses a 2-liter Atkinson cycle engine teamed up with 2 electric motors to push 204 horsepower, and Honda's hybrid tech is about as solid as it gets. You don't get that weird shudder or delay you find in other systems. It just works every single time. The build itself is no slouch either. Honda stiffened the front subframe, revised the steering rack, and gave the rear suspension a beefier multi-link setup with higher spring rates. Translation? It handles better, wears less, and still soaks up road imperfections convincingly. I've seen CR-Vs that drive the same at 80,000 miles as they did the day they rolled off the lot. Inside, it's a classic Honda. The layout is clean, the materials are solid, even in the base trims, and everything is where it should be. You've got real knobs and buttons where it counts, a 7-inch or 9-inch touchscreen depending on trim and Honda sensing standard across the board. Stuff like adaptive cruise, lane keep assist, and emergency braking are all present and functional. And look, this thing is not just rated high for fun. J.D. Power gave it an 84 out of 100 for quality and reliability, and Consumer Reports predicts above-average dependability based on years of owner data. The safety ratings back it up, too. Top safety pick from IIHS and 5 stars from NHTSA are nothing to be shrugged about. The bottom line here is that the 2025 CR-V isn't trying to wow you with gimmicks. It just shows up, does the job, and keeps going. That's what makes it one of the most reliable picks out there, hands down. 2025 Lexus RX. If you've ever slid behind the wheel of a Lexus RX, especially the 2025 version, you get why this one is on this list. It doesn't just look put together, it is actually put together. I've driven a lot of SUVs, and I can confirm that the RX is among those things that just refuses to break down. And that's not just sales talk. Consumer Reports and J.D. Power both have the RX ranked high on the reliability charts, and it's not by accident. This SUV is basically engineered to give you zero headaches for the long haul. Let's start with the heart of it, which is the powertrain. The RX 350 runs a 2.4-liter turbocharged inline 4-engine pushing 275 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired with an 8-speed automatic that shifts so smoothly you almost forget it's working. But where it really gets interesting is the RX 500 HFSP ORT trim. That one combines the same turbo engine with a high-output electric motor and a 6-speed auto box for a total of 366 horses. It's not just quick, it's built smart. That hybrid setup actually reduces the load on the gas engine, which means fewer moving parts wear down over time. Now, Lexus didn't skimp on the bones either. The chassis is tight, and it rides on a McPherson front and double wishbone rear suspension. That's a solid formula for stability and long-term durability. The RX 500h even gets an adaptive variable suspension system that adjusts damping on the fly, so whether you're coasting down a smooth highway or hitting a rough patch, it's always dialed in. Less bouncing around means less stress on the joints, literally and mechanically. Inside is all top shelf. You've got a massive 14-inch touchscreen, but they were smart enough to keep real buttons for climate and media. That's the kind of detail I appreciate. Less relying on touchscreens means less to go wrong. Materials are high-grade all around, and nothing feels cheap or rushed. And with Lexus Safety System Plus 3 as a standard feature, things like adaptive cruise, lane tracing, and pedestrian detection guarantee that you're not just comfortable, you're covered. From what I've seen and experienced, the Lexus RX simply checks out for reliability and one of the most rugged luxury SUVs you can bring home right now. 2025 Toyota RAV4. If there's one SUV I've seen go the distance without drama, it's the Toyota RAV4. I've had folks come back to the lot years later with over 150,000 miles on their RAV4s, and I swear they look and drive like they haven't aged a day. The 2025 model sticks to that same script. Keep it simple, keep it tough, and don't overthink the formula. That's exactly why both Consumer Reports and J.D. Power keep ranking it as one of the most reliable SUVs out there. Let's start with what's under the hood. The standard RAV4 runs a 2.5-liter dynamic force inline 4, cranking out 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic that shifts crisp and clean, and no rubber band CVT nonsense here. I've driven this setup on and off the pavement, in snow, heat, you name it, and it just keeps pulling without a hiccup. If you want even more peace of mind and killer fuel economy, the hybrid version is where Toyota flexes hard. It combines that same 2.5-liter engine with dual electric motors, good for 219 horsepower, and it doesn't feel sluggish either. Plus, Toyota's hybrid system is about as bomb-proof as they come. I mean, it's pretty rare for this drivetrain to suffer from issues. The chassis is solid. It rides on the TNGA-K platform, the same one used in the Highlander and Camry, so you get a nice blend of stiffness and comfort. The rear suspension's multi-link setup eats up bumps without getting sloppy, and the steering has just enough weight to feel connected without tiring you out. It's no canyon carver, but it handles better than most would expect. The interior is definitely far from being luxurious, but it's practical and built to last. Hard-wearing plastics in the right spots, real buttons for the climate and audio, and screens that respond fast without overcomplicating things. You've got a 7-inch screen standard, 9-inch on higher trims, and the full Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 suite across the lineup, which means you get adaptive cruise, lane centering, collision avoidance, and all the good stuff. They are all there and work well. The data backs it up too. Consumer Reports gives it above-average predicted reliability, and J.D. Power scored it an 80 out of 100 in quality and dependability. From what I've experienced firsthand, the 2025 RAV4 is a workhorse clothing in a modern package. It's quiet, confident, and built to outlast the trends. 2025 Toyota Highlander. The Highlanders is one of those SUVs I would really like to get behind the wheel, and hearing straight from owners that they're liking this thing means that it's not just me having a Toyota bias. With the Highlander, you know what you're getting. A no-nonsense, dead reliable SUV that just does the job without any complication. The 2025 Toyota Highlander doesn't try to reinvent anything, and that's exactly why it's still a go-to for families and folks who value peace of mind. Consumer Reports and J.D. Power both rank high for reliability this year, and based on what I've experienced firsthand, that checks out completely. Now under the hood, the Toyota ditched the old V6 and dropped in a 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4. It makes 265 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to a smooth-shifting 8-speed automatic. I was a bit unsure at first about that engine swap, but after driving it on highway pulls, steep grades, and around town, it's clear Toyota nailed the tuning. It has more low-end torque than the old V6 and feels more refined, especially when fully loaded. And if fuel economy is on your radar, the hybrid version is hard to beat. It gives 243 combined horsepower with 2 electric motors, buttery smooth transitions, and seriously reliable hardware. Toyota's hybrid system is practically in a class of its own when it comes to long-term durability. Chassis-wise, it rides on the TNG AK platform, the same as the RAV4 and Camry, and that gives it a solid, planted feel. Up front, you get McPherson struts. In the rear, a multi-link setup keeps things balanced and smooth. It's tuned for comfort, but it doesn't wallow around corners like some other three-rows. I also love the fact that its pure function meets long-haul toughness when it comes to its cabin. Hard-wearing materials, smart layout, and just the right amount of tech. The 8-inch screen on base trims does the trick, but the 12.3-inch unit on higher trims is sharp, fast, and easy to use. You've also got Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 Plus across the board, which includes essentials like lane keeping, radar cruise, pre-collision, and the kind of stuff that actually works without annoying you with false alerts. By all means, the Highlander is for the buyer who wants something they won't have to second-guess at 150,000 miles. It's not flashy, but it's rock solid, and in today's market, that kind of predictability is worth its weight in gold. 2025 Subaru Forester. One SUV I'd bet on to just keep going with little to no fuss is the Subaru Forester. I've worked with these rigs for years, and every time someone asks me for something that's all-weather capable, easy to live with, and damn near unkillable, the Forester always ends up on the short list. The 2025 model, in particular, just keeps doing what Subaru's always done right. It sticks to the basics, builds it strong, and makes sure it works every single day. That's exactly why both Consumer Reports and J.D. Power keep putting this thing at the top of their reliability charts. Under the hood, you've got a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated flat 4, or what Subaru folks call a boxer engine. It cranks out 180 horsepower and 178 pound-foot of torque, and while it's not going to win any drag races, it's consistent, it's smooth, and it doesn't wear itself out. That low-profile, horizontally opposed setup means the engine sits lower in the chassis for better balance, and I've seen these things roll past 200,000 miles with nothing but scheduled maintenance. It's mated to a Lineartronic CVT, which Subaru has dialed in tighter than most brands. No jerks, no lag, just steady power delivery that works whether you're in bumper-to-bumper or on a backcountry road. And of course, you've got full-time symmetrical all-wheel drive, not part-time, not a button you press. It's always on, always ready. Whether it's rain, snow, gravel, this system sticks, and that's a big reason owners keep coming back. Subaru is not trying to be fancy in terms of its interior. It's functional. Big windows, great visibility, durable fabrics, and controls that don't require a YouTube tutorial. The infotainment is easy to use with physical buttons where you want them. And the EyeSight Safety Suite, which comes with adaptive cruise, lane centering, and collision prevention. They are all standard and work solid, so you can really rely on this SUV to take care of you down the road. J.D. Power gave the 2025 Forester an 83 out of 100 in quality and reliability, and Consumer Reports backs that up with long-term owner data. From my experience alone, it's dead accurate. This thing is the definition of a dependable daily driver. It's not sexy, But it's the SUV you hand down to your kid in 10 years, and it'll still start up like it's day one.